We all have COVID-19 stories, don't we? One of mine had to do when public masses were reopened. And the first mass I attended was at the Shrine of Our Lady of Czestochowa. And after receiving communion, totally unexpected, walking back, I filled with tears and began to cry. I wondered why. Maybe it was my own sentimental sensitivities, yes. But that didn't change the reality that something profound had affected me, had moved me to tears at that moment. What was it? Tears of joy? No doubt. But why? What was I joyful about? Was it because I had received Jesus? Was it that a hunger had been finally satisfied? I have to admit that during the lockdown, I hadn't been aware of any hunger. But in retrospect, that absence from Mass did indeed create such that. Without realizing it, I had grown hungry by not having attended Mass nor having received the body of Christ. And thankfully, it was not as long as it could have been. But even for that short time, how hungry I became. Typically, we think of hunger as a want of food, a need satisfied by eating. This morning's gospel from the beginning of John chapter 6, the often called bread of life discourse, we hear how Jesus anticipates the hunger of a very large crowd and miraculously feeds them. In this account, we may want to notice that in feeding the 5,000, he satisfied them before a hunger even existed. Might we see Jesus doing this for us? Might we imagine that he satisfies a hunger we don't even know that we have? Most of us, hopefully and thankfully, probably don't experience serious physical hunger because we're eating at least one meal a day or whatever. I would hope that none of us experience the pain from physical hunger, and that we can do what we can so that others don't experience it either. But what about spiritual hunger? Is this not as painful? Might this even be more common? Friends, let's ask ourselves, are we hungry now? Spiritually? Hungry for a sense of peace, of contentment? Are we unsatisfied with relationships? Are we searching to find some meaning in our life? Are we lost, looking for something, anything, to satisfy an inner emptiness? Maybe not. But then again, how would we know? Maybe we don't realize our hunger and won't until it's satisfied. Jesus, God, who is as human as each one of us, knows us better than we know ourselves. He loves us more than we can imagine, and loves us more than we can love ourselves or anyone else possibly could. He satisfies our hunger. He exceeds meeting all of our needs. Pious platitudes, you might say. Maybe. But what's not a trite expression is what's made present for our reception at every Mass. Jesus himself offered to the Father for our redemption, our satisfaction, our benefit. In a few moments, we'll be invited to approach the altar to receive him, Jesus himself. He alone who can satisfy beyond all wanting our hunger, our need for fulfillment. And if we receive him worthily, if we enter into communion with him in his church, we, like the 5,000, will have our fill.